Just nu är det ju klubb-VM, alltså för klubblag då. Och det här är hur det kommer att förändra fotbollen för evigt. Det är så titeln säger i alla fall. Vi ska ta och kolla på den här och se vad det handlar om egentligen. Den här klubblags-VM.
This is for me a war on football.
I'm disgusted.
This was the biggest backlash in football history. When the Super League was announced in 2021, fans revolted, governments stepped in, and within 48 hours, the whole idea collapsed. But while everyone was distracted, one guy was lurking, maybe even taking notes. Now FIFA has launched their own version. But this time, it's not 12 clubs.
Jag tycker det är så konstigt att det blir en FIFA Club World Cup när Superligan, att alla var så anti det. Liksom.
It's 32, not just Europe, the world. The FIFA Club World Cup will take place in the US this summer. And while most fans don't even care, this might be one of the smartest power moves in football history. Because the Club World Cup isn't just about another trophy. It's about who really owns football.
Ja, det är
Welcome to Athletic Interest.
Jösses, okej. Bra intro. Det här kommer bli riktigt intressant.
But to understand FIFA's master plan, we have to rewind. Back in 1960, the Intercontinental Cup was introduced. It was only a single game between the European and South American Continental Cup winners. Prestigious, but exclusive. Africa, Asia, North America were left out. Plus, it wasn't FIFA's tournament. It was organized by UEFA and CONMEBOL, the governing bodies for Europe and South America. So FIFA, the governing body for world football, got jealous. They wanted something of their own, but it took some time. In 2000, FIFA organized the first ever Club World Cup by uniting teams from all 6 confederations. The tournament took place, Corinthians won, but then it disappeared. Poor planning, low interest, and financial trouble killed it after...
Low interest! Det var det jag tog ut därifrån. Klubblags-VM nu, low interest.
Just one edition. Meanwhile, UEFA's Champions League was exploding in popularity and profit. So FIFA needed to react. In 2005, they relaunched the Club World Cup. But still, it never quite mattered. Fans saw it as a glorified pre-season tour. Clubs barely took it seriously. But FIFA, they never let go of the idea of making it big. And this is where we are now. 2 decades later, the Club World Cup was rebooted again. With an even bigger format.
Ja, det är det.
Teams, 8 groups of 4.
Det är en
the 2 best
satsning,
teams
alltså
advance to the
rejäl
knockout
satsning.
stages, just like the actual World Cup. It will be held every 4 years and is truly global now. Competing are
var fjärde år, jag tror det skulle vara varje år.
continental champions and top-ranked clubs from each confederation. Now imagine organizing this. You have to juggle clubs, leagues, confederation, venues, accommodation, travel, logistics. Somewhere out there, FIFA employees are sweating bullets. Or use the sponsor of today's video.
Nej, vi behöver ingen sponsor.
You're over project roads.
Kom igen.
Per country
Så.
and teams under shared ownership. And then there's Inter Miami. They got the host nation slot.
Host.
The MLS champions would be the logic choice.
Och inte nog med det att det liksom är low interest. Till exempel jag kollade på Real Madrid mot Al Hilal, kollade jag på. Jag sa det, alltså det är så svettigt, alltså spelarna orkar knappt springa. Då var det alltså 31 grader. Det står att det kändes som 36 grader i solen. Förstår ni hur jobbigt det är att spela då, eller?
Instead, it's Miami.
Fy fan.
The official reason, they were the team with the best regular season record. The unofficial reason, Messi sells tickets.
Ja,
It's
exakt.
symbolic, because just like Miami, the entire Club World Cup feels a little out of place. But here's the catch. At its core, the Club World Cup isn't even really about football. It's part of a much bigger plan.
Japp, det är det.
One that is sneaky, controversial, but also kind of genius.
Trojansk häst.
And starts with a $1 million question.
Yeah.
Why is FIFA still pushing the Club World Cup if it has never been a big success? To understand that, first we have to break down FIFA's financial model. So far, it heavily depends on the sale of television, marketing and licensing rights, plus tickets for the International Men's and Women's World Cup, each of which are only held once every 4 years. Meanwhile, club football is a weekly money machine, but it's controlled by others. CONMEBOL has Libertadores, but first and foremost UEFA has the Champions League.
Precis.
That's a lot of money and power
Sant, jag har
outside
inte
FIFA.
tänkt på det. Just det. Det har jag inte tänkt på.
Hands. But
Du
FIFA
och
wants
inte
more
FIFA
money
liksom,
and
någon
more
Champions League
power,
och
and
sådär.
therefore they need more control over club football. And the Club World Cup works like a Trojan horse. It's FIFA's own global club competition, independent from UEFA's ecosystem, and therefore their chance to enter the club football economy and shift power away from UEFA.
Ja.
But that's not all. FIFA needs more than a new format. They need a story. And here it is.
Men va?
Inclusion. For FIFA, it's the perfect narrative. They are not just growing the game. They are giving everyone a seat at the table.
Ja.
The Club World Cup gives a platform to clubs from Africa, Asia and America
Så är
who
det.
are locked out of UEFA's elite money pool. For these clubs, the Club World Cup isn't just a tournament. It's a shot at global exposure and prize money they've never seen before.
Och allt det
While
handlar
FIFA
bara
is
om
increasing
pengar,
its
alltså.
influence in developing football markets, where UEFA has none. But to actually pull this off, FIFA also needs distribution. That's where their secret weapon comes into play. FIFA announced that the Zone will be the broadcasting home of the Club
de
World Cup,
betalar väl
streaming
som pengar
all
som
63
fan, va?
games for free, making it the most accessible club football
Det är
tournament
sjukt faktiskt att det är
ever.
gratis.
What the Champions League is clearly not. For the Zone, the Club World Cup is welcoming off-season content, helping to maintain viewer engagement during summer. And for FIFA, the Zone isn't just a broadcaster. They are part of a strategic triangle. Let's connect the dots. Reportedly, the Zone paid $1 billion for the rights.
Ja.
And somehow, right before the deal was made, Saudi Arabia invested in the Zone for...
Det är så sjukt. Saudiarabien ligger bakom som... Alltså, det vet jag om, att det ligger bakom så mycket av det här alltså. Ja, man vill bara vara en fluga på väggen hos de här FIFA-mötena och sånt med stora, mäktiga människorna från Saudiarabien och de ska hålla VM och...
$1 billion. The prize pool at the Club World Cup, $1 billion. Totally unrelated, of course. Also the fact that Saudi Arabia got the FIFA World Cup in 2024. This sequence of events is not random, but rather suggests a strategic approach. Right now, the UEFA Champions League is still the undisputed king of club football. But FIFA's Club World Cup is the boldest attempt yet to challenge that dominance. And by securing Saudi investment and partnering with the Zone, FIFA is creating a structure that they believe could dethrone UEFA in the long run. And UEFA, they know that they are getting attacked, but their hands are tied because top European clubs are making lots of money from the new Club World Cup. And UEFA needs those clubs to stay loyal or risk another Super League threat. If FIFA's master plan turns out to be successful, it could reshape global club football economics. But will it succeed? Well, it's complicated. On paper, the new Club World Cup sounds promising. Fresh, never seen before matchups between some of the biggest clubs in the world on free TV. Plus, the United States, with its modern stadiums, enthusiastic fans, and growing interest in the soccer way of football, have the potential to be a great host. But beneath the surface, there are also a whole lot of problems. First, player health.
Det är det som är min hela grej, att så här, spelarna får ännu mindre semester. De tjänar sina pengar, absolut, men det är liksom nästan inte ens mänskligt att spela så många matcher på ett år.
Is usually the only real break top-level players get nowadays. At least if they are not playing for the national team.
Precis.
Now, adding another tournament basically means there's zero off-season for some players. Take Federico Valverde.
Yeah.
Up until April 1st,
No
he has made 43 back-to-back appearances with less than 5 days of recovery in between. Because of the Club World Cup, he could reach 65 back-to-back appearances, racking up close to 7,000 minutes and 78 total games. That's almost double the average workload. Not included the additional stress due to all the traveling. Franz Beckenbauer used to say that playing is better than training. But guess what? The Kaiser never had to grind through 70-plus games a year. The mental and physical burnout is real. Managers are concerned. This football's union started legal action
alltså,
against
det var
FIFA.
inte liksom Wenger skittider på det här också förut när han var tränare, att redan då att det var lite för mycket matcher liksom, och nu har det liksom eskalerat något enormt alltså.
And Kevin De Bruyne summed up that the new Club World Cup
money
shows
speaks,
that
så är
money
det.
speaks louder than the players' voices.
Så är det.
This brings us to the second problem. More games mean more cash for FIFA and for the participating clubs.
Exactly.
A win-win situation, right? It's not that easy. First, because the $1 billion prize money isn't distributed evenly. Europe is sending 12 clubs, more than any other continent. And those clubs are expected to dominate, like in past editions. So the lion's share is likely going to European clubs. But it doesn't stop there. Within Europe, the prize money leads to even more problems. Let's travel to Munich. Bayern are by far the wealthiest and most successful club in Germany. By competing in the Club World Cup, they will get $28 million just for showing up. And up to $126 million if they win.
Ja, de kommer bara sticka iväg ännu mer i ligan.
That's way more than all of the Bundesliga team's entire season broadcast revenue. So rich clubs get richer, the financial gap grows, and competitive balance in domestic leagues suffers. Farmers' leagues aren't just a meme. They can be the consequence. And that brings us to problem number 3.
Too much football. Okay.
There are just too many games with too little relevance. Especially when the leagues are decided in like March. Take a look at the NFL. A lot of its thrill is due to the fact that there are only 17 matches in the regular season. Blink and it's over. Every match is high stakes. And every win is important. Therefore, you won't want to miss a single game day. In football, you can't even keep up with all the national and international competitions anymore. This summer alone, the Club World Cup will be up against 3 other major football tournaments. So the question is not if there is football to watch. The question is rather, what competition is worth watching? And ultimately, is the Club World Cup worth watching? Ticket sales as of now suggest maybe not. To make people buy more tickets, FIFA started offering creative incentives. Here's the deal. If you buy and attend 2 Club World Cup matches, FIFA will guarantee you a ticket for a highly demanded 2026 World Cup game. If you buy 20 tickets for the Club World Cup, you'll be guaranteed a ticket to the 2026 World Cup final. For an extra fee on top, of course. While it can be seen as smart marketing, it fits the bigger picture. In theory, the Club World Cup can be a global football spectacle. But in practice, it also creates many problems. Maybe even more than it pretends to solve. Sepp Blatter once called the idea of a Club World Cup a mistake. And even right now, it still could turn out to be one. Therefore, it's easy to compare the Club World Cup.
Men man förstår ju, efter den här videon så förstår jag ju varför FIFA trycker så mycket på den här klubblags-VM faktiskt. Jag förstår ju det, när UEFA har sin Champions League, CONMEBOL och Libertadores och sådär. Alltså man förstår ju det. Jag förstår ju det, varför de vill ha det.
Failed Super League attempt from 2021. But this time, there is no earth-shattering backlash. No fan revolt. No government intervention. Because this time, it's not a breakaway by clubs. It's FIFA making the move from the top down. FIFA frames it as inclusion and growth of the game. And it's partly shown in the Club World Cup. Football belongs to the people in London, Barcelona, Paris and Milan as much as to people in Casablanca, Auckland, Riyadh, Tunis and Pretoria. But it also shows that at most it belongs to the suits in Zurich.
Otroligt bra video alltså. Jag hoppas ni också tyckte det. Väldigt bra, alltså formulerat och lite mer information om det här liksom, vidare. Jag hoppas ni tyckte det också, som jag sa. Jag ber om ursäkt att det var på engelska, men så enkelt är det. Tack för att du kollade på videon. Vi syns imorgon förresten till en video imorgon. Då är det fan så bra.